We're gonna start with a low taper. The reason why I'm starting low is we want to save the canvas. I only have my brother and my dad to cut, really, because I'm not cutting any clients. So I'm gonna start with a low taper. Later on, we're gonna do some scissor work. That gives me time to grow my hair because I just buzzed it. I like my hair short, but I'm gonna grow it out for you guys. Let's get to it. This is what my hair looks like before. It's good.
Is that everything?
No, I'm recording.
Oh, shit.
Majority of you guys watching this might not have the same amount of tools as I do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this haircut with very minimal tools up until a point where I'm happy with the haircut. Then I'm gonna add a little bit more advanced techniques that I'll go through more in depth in my next videos. But if you guys have the tools, you guys can do it too. Let me explain a concept for you guys. So closed is a term that barbers use when both of the blades are matched up together. And when they're matched up together like this, it's gonna cut more hair. When it's open and the lever is down, it's gonna cut less hair. If I had a 1 guard on it and it was 1 closed, that means it's just a 1. And if I had the lever all the way down, that means it's a 1.5. In simpler terms, that's pretty much how every guard works. The half is always open, and if it's a solid number, it's closed. All right, so I did my guideline closed. Now I'm gonna open the blade. Now it's gonna be 0.5. And I'm gonna make my second guideline. Now the motion I have, as you can see, the blade is tapered. So imagine this is your head. There's a little bit of give right there so that if you're tapering out, you're making sure that you're not gonna make a solid line. And that's gonna be hard to buff out. The softer the line, the easier it is gonna be to blend to the next level. If you're up like this, you're making a really, really harsh line, which is why I like to rest the blade on the heel rather than the toes, if that makes sense. Heel, toe. I'm coming up with these new terms that I've never even said before. Next, I noticed that there is a line between all the way closed and open, my 0 and my 0.5. So I'm gonna start playing with my lever and go in between because my eye can pick it up. And it's blended and it looks blended. You're happy with it. You can skip this step. Remember, this is not a cookie cutter method. Sometimes you'll swoop, you might even blend the whole thing. And if it looks faded, you can leave it right there. You don't necessarily have to go through all the steps. This concept of cutting hair is very important that I feel like a lot of people miss. They need to go through every single step, and now you're creating these guidelines that you didn't even really need because the haircut was already complete. We're gonna move up to our next guard, and that's 1/16 of an inch. I'm using the wall guards or whatever you guys have, whether it came with the clipper or you have the same wall premium guards that I have, or you have the purple guards. You're gonna move your way up. You're gonna have the same concept all the way through. Now, I'm gonna go to my closed position, but with the guard on. I'm gonna blend a little bit in a sweeping motion. Next, I'm just gonna open it. So now we're at 1/16 of an inch open. And notice how I'm using the corners because it's such a small area that I have to cover. It doesn't make sense for me to use the whole blade. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm spotting some hairs down below of what I did, and I kind of played with my lever. You can see that there's theme of one size, another size, and then there's gonna be a little bit here and there, and I'm gonna go like in between, if that makes sense. I'm gonna move up another guard. So that's my number 1. And I'm just gonna keep doing the same steps. Then I'm gonna go to my 1.5 guard, but if you guys don't have that, move straight to your 2. And what I like to do is I like to run the guard through my head, and I like to see how much it'll cut. It looks like the amount that I'll need, so I'm gonna use it in this area. And I can see there are lines. And that's what it's gonna be like. This looks blended. But from you guys, it doesn't look that blended. A lot better than before, but definitely not there. So I like to hold my mirror. I'm right-handed. I'm holding my mirror with my left. I like to hold my mirror up top here or back here. And then I'm gonna refer back to my main mirror. And what I like to do is pause so I don't make a mistake, adjust. And then now I'm comfortable with the same motion and I can see what I'm hitting. If your arm is cramping, that's totally normal. Remember, everyone's hair grows a lot differently, so not every taper is gonna look the same. Some people have really dark hair and light scalp. That's how you're gonna get that really tapered effect. What you want is a nice blended job because you just wanna get the job done, and you're slowly gonna get better when you're practicing on other people and yourself, and things are just gonna get better. But if it's gonna be your first time, don't expect the craziest haircut, but aim for the craziest haircut. So next, I'm gonna get my trimmer, AKA my liner. So I'm gonna aim straight, but just the very edge. Then I'm gonna make my bottom guideline, and how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna use a mirror, and I'm gonna aim straight down. Imagine I just want to join. I think we're doing a good job. Thank God I haven't messed up. You can call it a day right here. But we're gonna move on to the next side so you can see how that is. Remember, keep in mind, there's no rule to cutting yourself on what you need in your other hand. Have it, whatever makes you feel comfortable cutting your own hair. I pick up my mirror, I look, I cut, sometimes I drop off my mirror, sometimes I pick up my comb, drop my comb. I'm trying to figure things out, and it's okay. Like, you're gonna be frustrated. Keep the concept simple. So a big mistake that I went through when I started cutting my own hair was I would have a lot of clutter on my table, my countertop, and then I'd pick up a guard and I'll be like, wait, what step did I just do? A pro hack is try to organize everything. So have your lowest guard arranged to your highest guard, and whenever time you pick something up, put something back, be very neat, and you're gonna be sane, because you're gonna go crazy when you're cutting your own hair and you lose track of what guideline did I just put. It's gonna be a big struggle. So don't get frustrated, be calm, and just know that hair grows back, it can be fixed. So same concept. I'm gonna start closed, make my guideline, and see if it's where I want it to be. We good. Same concept. I'm gonna open it up again. Now we just move up to my 116 again, or your next guard up, whatever you have. Closed. Now we're gonna open it. Same thing, swooping motion. Again, I noticed that there's a line in between the closed and the open, so I'm gonna put it in between. I'm gonna move to my next guard up. That's a 1, and I'm gonna have it closed. Now we're on open. Now I'm having trouble seeing this part, so what I like to do with my left hand, if you're right-handed, just do it in reverse if you're left-handed, is I like to actually like reach over from a friend's eye view, barber's eye view. Oh, you guys can see that. You guys probably can't. Sorry. What I really want to get across is the tricks. So you can see here, when I'm looking in the mirror, I can see the side of my head. Number 2. Same thing. It's harder than it looks. Well, hopefully you guys seeing my struggle, you guys know that everybody's struggling at this point. But we're gonna get through it. It's gonna look fresh, guaranteed. You gotta have that attitude. You got this. No, you're not going to bed with a bad haircut. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Yes, sir. Notice how my trimmer is straight. I'm gonna set my guideline at the bottom. I think we're looking pretty good. I think we are looking pretty good, man. Now we gotta get the back. Same concept as fading. The difference is now you either have to reach back, or this is the most easiest way to see everything generally, but it's very hard to see details. And like this, easy to see up close details. So when you're back like this, You can set your guideline all the way around if you're doing a fade or your taper and see if it's balanced. But when I'm getting to the nitty gritty details of detailing, you want to go to this view. That's how I find it easier. And I'm starting with my dominant hand, and I'm trying to reach over as far as I possibly can all the way to the other side, because to get to this side, I like to use my left hand. I can cut with my left hand. I still do find it harder, but I also want to refrain any mistakes or lower the risk of making a mistake is use my right hand as much as I possibly can. But I'm gonna go to my left. If I can't reach all the way over it, I don't want to strain my back. I'm gonna open it. Same thing, I'm gonna go to that middle area because I do notice some lines in between. I'm just gonna buff it out. And I'm gonna go to my next guard, 1/16 closed, and we're gonna have a flicking motion. And I'm gonna open it and notice my flicking out motion. And I notice some lines, and I'm just gonna go in between. I realize I can't look cool doing this. Like, everybody struggles with this. But I do know what to do, but I'm used to someone cutting my own hair. So I'm doing this with y'all. Now we're gonna go to our, our one? Closed. And you wanna follow the shape of the head. Remember, every little bit you wanna dust off to make sure you get loose hairs. I'd say like after every 3 steps that you do, have the habit of brushing yourself off. It'll be less stressful for you because when you're messy, you're stressed, you're trying to figure things out. You get mad pretty easily actually. If you can eliminate one thing, keep things simple, one less thing you gotta stress about. And I know what you guys are saying. Will, I thought you said in your last video that you need a cape because of the reasons that I listed. If you guys watched my other video, no, I'm not wearing socks, so no, I'm not gonna end up with barber injury. Ha! Yeah, I forgot my cape. That was my mistake. Witness it here live. Next, I'm gonna go to my 2. This is not my mirror. I wish. I'm just gonna make my last guideline. Now I'm just gonna go back and try to knock out any details that I see, any dark spots. And sometimes your eyes just get stressed looking at the same thing. But I'm here to show you what it's gonna look like. Yeah, you're gonna be reaching over like that, switching hands. And no, you don't need multiple tools. In my last video, I talked about the bare basics that you guys need. So check that out. So I'm just trying to follow the hairline as natural as possible. And if I want to make it sharper, I can bring it in just a bit. I use my middle finger and I hold it. I try to turn the clipper on. So I'm using my middle finger and I'm using the trimmer like a pencil. With the next side, this hand is a lot harder. And the last thing I like to do is my lineup. If you guys want to make it even more fresher, what I suggest is going over the bottom using your trimmer. But if you're happy with it, you don't have to. A lot of people will start their guideline with a trimmer. The reason why I don't do that is because I like giving myself room for error. Now that everything's set, now I can add that little detail of making it just a bit more crisp. But if I did it in the very beginning, how I cut, I might create a bigger risk of raising it up too high off the bat. Now I'm making mistakes. Now my taper is all the way up here. So that's why I do that little bit last. Kind of upset that I didn't put on my cape, but we all make mistakes. Man, this is my favorite shade of black. If you wear a lot of black, you know. All right, so I think we're done. I think I did pretty good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys, that concludes how to cut your hair without the self-cut system, what it looks like, what it feels like. We got through it together and I think I'm looking good. So I hope you guys can look good too. More batch of videos coming your way weekly. So make sure to hit that subscribe, like, hit the bell so you guys are updated, and I'll see you guys next time. For the love.